we're talking spiritual books. It was actually really hard trying to figure out like how I wanted to hold the books and present them to you. I was like, should I fan them out maybe? And I was like, man, that looks like crap. And then I decided to go with this. Tell me what you think. I've read nearly 100 spiritual books, and with 100 spiritual books comes a lot of lessons. So I'm going to share my top 10 spiritual lessons from these books, as well as from my own life experience, because obviously everything you read in a book is an interpretation of what you believe about it, and how you see it, and how you perceive it, and how it resonates with you. So there is no definitive truth. These are just my perspectives of what I've learned from nearly 100 spiritual books. And if you do want the list of the books I read, be sure to comment and I can go ahead and send that to you via email. I always say if a book comes across your path twice, you're meant to know about it. If it comes across your path 3 times, you're definitely meant to read it. It's your higher self, your spirit, your personal guide telling you, check out that book because there's some really great stuff that's going to help you overcome the lesson that you're currently navigating here and now. And just like if you read a book 3 years ago and it really resonates, and then you read a book now, you're like, man, this book is just hitting me in all different ways. That's because you're a different person 3 years later. So books have always been a tremendous resource for me through my spiritual path. So I'm going to share my top 10 lessons. If you have any questions, if you think I'm missing anything, let me know in the comment section. And thank you, as always, for subscribing. I can speak about these lessons in depth. So let me know what you want to hear and what you want to talk about. So I wrote my top 10 takeaways down so that I can be very particular and kind of accurate and a little bit poetic with my words. And I'm going to start with lesson 10 and then dial it back to the number 1 lesson, which I think is just extraordinary, beautiful. So be sure to stick around until the end of the video. So the 10th lesson here is this. There are methods for tapping into your power as a divine creator so as to attract a particular reality or experience into the present moment using both your subconscious and conscious mind. The most recognized way I have read consistently in many different books and what I've seen is being very, very specific about what you want and writing that down on a piece of paper. And then you're going to meditate over what you wrote down. You're going to affirm it. You're going to look it over. You're going to read it over, and you're going to take time visualizing that at particular times of the day, seeing yourself experiencing those goals and dreams of success that you wrote down on your paper, and making that a daily habit. And ultimately, you're going to attract that experience into your reality using the power of your subconscious and conscious mind. 9, there is no right or wrong way to progress through your spiritual awakening or journey, but your emotions serve as a compass pointing you in a beneficial or unbeneficial direction. So you got to feel your way through your journey. I always say that what we feel is kind of like our higher self, the angels, the powers that be speaking to us, trying to communicate us. And we are going to learn what direction to go by discouragement or encouragement. So when we feel kind of bad about something, you're like, I don't know, I don't get a good vibe from this person or from this opportunity. That is persuasion into a better direction that is more suited for our ultimate experience here in our earthly avatars as who we are living the life that we're living. And when we feel good about something, well, that's kind of a no-brainer. You're just like, man, I feel really good about this person or this opportunity. And that is the source or spirit guiding us to where we need to be. 8, how you treat others is a direct reflection of how you value yourself. So I've seen that the most rude and mean people out there are also the ones who are the most insecure and who also have the tendency to have very little self-love and self-worth, which means ultimately that they need our love the most. I always make this comparison when somebody's really mean and toxic and just putting out that really bad energy. People always question of how to maintain peace and positivity and even neutrality just around that person. And we've all been walking down the street one day and we see that homeless person and they're missing limbs, they're missing a leg. What does that make you think? Right when you see that and they're sitting there and they're missing their legs, you do come to the realization that you're grateful for having legs, for having the body you have and the lifestyle that you have. It humbles you because you're like, oh man, things could be so much worse. When you come across that mean, toxic, rude person, that energy, those words that they share, you may have to interact with that for a few moments or an hour or whatever it is. They can't get away from it. It's in their mind and in their heart and their beingness. They're missing a part of their experience that really handicaps them to experience beauty and pleasure and delight and peace and love in life. How sad is that? It really kind of breaks your heart. And that's an okay place to be because we don't want to latch onto their energy. We want to maintain our own peace and love while being sympathetic for their struggle and trying to say, how can I pour some love into their journey to help them? Because ultimately, that's just what they need. 7, gratitude is the most powerful emotion for anchoring yourself into presence and peace. And it's also the most powerful emotion for drawing a particular experience or attracting a particular reality into your present moment. So people think about manifestation as being woo-woo and being like, yeah, no, it's magic. You can't just do this stuff. You got to put in the hard work. And actually, if you really learn about manifestation, that coincides with mindfulness perfectly, with presence, because you're not looking at life for what it isn't. You're trying to find what life is, and you're searching with a goal. The goal being, let me find experiences that give me gratitude. That gratitude is like an anchor into awareness and presence. You start seeing or perceiving your life on a whole deeper level, kind of an expansion of your perspective. I always say it's like going from black and white to color. And then when you're tethered into that present moment, that awareness there, you are experiencing mindfulness, awareness. You're one with the now because you're seeing it for what it is instead of wanting it to be other than what it is, attachment. So being grateful is a really good goal line to establish within your daily habits of finding gratitude throughout your day. It is going to be a tremendous anchor into presence, and at the same time you're broadcasting this elevated vibration off into the world that you are grateful for your life and the experiences that are flowing through it, and therefore you are attracting more experiences to be grateful for. And if you wish, you can kind of place your order, if you will, like I described in the other steps, by using your conscious and subconscious mind to say, you know what, I really want to be a successful entrepreneur, or I want to have that loving partner, or I want to have financial stability, or I want to be really profound figure at helping others. Whatever that is, you have the power to call that experience into your present moment. But gratitude is the first step in establishing that foundation of peace and presence. Number 6, your reality is the direct reflection of what you believe about yourself as well as what you believe about your circumstance or life. So basically, your beliefs are manifested into the physical reality through your thoughts, your feelings, emotions, and your actions. So knowing that, you can kind of take an inventory of where your life is and then gauge and be like, well, what's missing? And that missing thing, it's tethered to a belief system that you have about yourself or life that is not empowering and inspiring you to have that thing or be that thing or experience that experience. And everything that you've achieved, though, all the good things, all the blessings, all the reasons that you are grateful are because you have established a really empowering and inspiring belief system so as to manifest that into the physical reality or now. So you can kind of learn where you excelled at, or like, oh man, I'm really good in the business or with the relationships, and where you feel that you may be falling short. It's just because you believe that you are lacking in that space. You can replace that belief and therefore change the physical reality of your life. 5, you are not your thoughts or your thinking mind, but rather the divine awareness behind them. Your thoughts are kind of like this tumultuous, ever-changing ocean surface, while you are the current of divine awareness running below it and through it. So when we have 1,000 conscious thoughts every single minute that we're awake here, we don't have to attach ourselves to those thoughts. They're just kind of like if we're on a canoe going down a stream and you got fall came in and all the leaves that are fluttering down to the ground, we are not attaching ourselves to each one of those. It just kind of comes in and then it goes out. There's always this thing with thoughts. Let it come, let it be, let it go. And so you don't have to basically attach yourself to your thoughts. You can be observant of them without attachment and let them come and let them go and not trigger emotions, and then find that peace behind that. It's not doing that stuff that kind of gets us emotionally triggered and stuff. And a lot of people do have that attachment, thinking that they are their thoughts or that inner monologue. So when you start to really observe yourself and how you think and process stuff, and then when you're triggered by emotions and then taking that emotion and finding what thought triggered it, which was the byproduct of a belief, you really start learning a whole bunch about yourself. And ultimately, we all come back to this same place, the divine awareness, the wizard behind the curtain of the thinking mind. So if you're not doing that, definitely try it out. Great book for that is The Untethered Soul, as well as The Power of Now. 4, you are a divine creator who has the ability to affect your reality or life with the power of your thoughts, your emotions, your spirit, and your energy. Learning how to control all of these means learning how to control the outcome of your reality. With that said, everything in this physical world is temporal, while everything in the spirit world is eternal. So a lot of people want to control their reality, thinking that they have to experience certain things, and they kind of get some stress and anxiety, a little pressure from that. But you're just here to experience. That's it. There's no more profound experience and less profound experience, because in the end, you're going to run the gauntlet of everything. That's what they say source is. I'll get to that in one of my other lessons here. But you don't have to do anything. You don't have to experience anything. You can just let your days unfold and just find the peace and hopefully the gratitude and joy and pleasure and delight, if those come, within those moments, and observe those and find that deepening connection to that divine consciousness or awareness behind your thoughts. But you do have that power as a divine creator to alter your reality to be that which you ultimately desire. 3, there is no past and there is no future, only the precise moment now. So in the end, there is nothing to achieve in the future and nothing to fix from the past. Whew, that makes it so much easier, right? You are perfect as you are here and now. You also experience your true divine nature the most when you are fully present in the now. So we are always kind of concerned with, oh my gosh, when this happens in the future doesn't exist. It's only right now. It's just a cycle of moments that exist in the now. The past, you can look back and learn from stuff and then apply it to the now if you wish. That's why the past is there for us to reflect on and learn from and remember. In the future, we can try to draw certain experiences into our now if we wish, or just kind of ride the ever-changing kind of gauntlet of change in the present moment and finding that peace and stability and purpose within that moment. I also mentioned experiencing the most undiluted version of your divine awareness or nature in the present moment. You ever go skydiving or cycling, ride a motorcycle, get into the ring and start boxing, any kind of hobbies, surfing, athletics, anything that really draws your consciousness into the now, the meditations, the deep spiritual work, having that intimate, crazy, beautiful conversation with a loved one, doing something that is just taking you away from everything that exists outside of that moment, and your senses, all 5 of them, and your feelingness and your beingness are so tethered, so attached to the current moment that you feel outside of yourself. You don't feel that you're experiencing life in this body. You feel like you're kind of flowing with life, that there is no separation in a sense. And so that can be achieved by accessing the present moment. That's why people get so addicted to doing all the hobbies and the activities and martial arts, and then exploring the spiritual aspect of things and meditation and having those deep, loving, romantic, intimate moments with others, is because they are getting a really deep taste of the now, which is a deep taste or experience with your divine nature and awareness. So do that as much as you can. 2, get into the good stuff now. There is one universal divine consciousness, source, or God. Everything in our known and unknown existence is a representation of this same divine force in various forms. An eternal divine ocean scattered into an infinite amount of droplets, in which each droplet is an infinite divine ocean. Say that 10 times fast, right? So you see that source, God, the powers that be, it is just separation of itself into various forms, experiencing itself in every infinite way. So that means that's going to bring us to lesson number 1. The top, the creme de la creme over here, I believe, again, you are this divine consciousness, source, or God. The spiritual quest is first acquainting yourself with this truth, then gradually strengthening this belief, until you fully embody it with your entire beingness, or rather, it embodies you. So if I take the Pacific Ocean and I take a little droplet and I flick that little droplet off into a void somewhere, then I go look at it from a quantum level, that thing is a universe, let alone an ocean. Perspective is not about size, it's about the energy and the vibration. Size has nothing to do with it. So we see that source blasted itself off into all these little particles. We are those particles, so we are source. And the people who have come to identify with their divine nature the most are the ones who in history leave the biggest lasting impression. I'm thinking Jesus Christ, Buddha, Lao Tzu, the ones who are the true masters, who were able to affect so many with their divinity, because they have really stepped into the space of unification with that belief that they are divine. You too are the same. We are just working on our belief system, strengthening that belief through lifetimes and getting well acquainted with that until that ascension is complete. So these are my top 10. Again, if you want the list of my 89 spiritual books that I've read, I'm going on 100 here. By the end of the year, I'm sure I'll have it. But it has been a profound ride. I love everything I learned. I have a really great list of resources out there for what you want. So let me know if you're interested in that in the comments section. Let me know what I'm missing. Let me know your feedback on the list. And as always, thank you for subscribing. I'm supremely grateful for you all. And just to let you know too, I have launched a membership. So if you want to learn all about this stuff and apply it to your life so as to benefit from these lessons, which I guarantee will happen if you're into this stuff, check out my membership. It's at my website, JhN&x.com, and you're going to have all the resources you need to work with me one-on-one within the membership. Just jump on a call and to hear about the new novel that I'm releasing this summer. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next video. I'm grateful for you.